Tunnel Rat alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Over 5 years, 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim. Today is August the 18th, 2023, and this is episode 355 of the Workshop Radio. Guys, I tell you, I don't know where I know where a lot of you live, but fall is in the air up here. And I know fall is a 4-letter word that starts with F, but my God, is it in the air. So we're going to bring on my beautiful better half in just a moment, but we'll get a couple of announcements out of the way. Great to have everybody here. Hey, Spags, good to see you. Number one, Friday night, Saturday night episode, sponsored by Two Chicks Homestead. Two good friends of mine whom I'm going to go visit right away in less than a month now. We're going to be down there. Aaron and Nate from twochickshomestead.com. They have an incredible podcast. They're just an all-around really cool family who does all. I just read David Ziegler just took me out of it here. He said, screw you and all your fall dreams. Yes, I know. It's pumpkin spice everything in Canada already. And Nimrod Diaries. Haven't seen you in a while. Great to have you. Just some algorithm food, Tim. Got to go. God bless you all. Good to see you for the minute you dropped in. So, Two Chicks Homestead. If you are looking to get a little more motivated, to get a little inspired about homeschooling, ham radio, there I said it already, or homesteading, ham radio, or homeschooling, give Nate and Aaron a try. Add them in your podcast feed. They're great friends of mine who deserve to have a listen. Number two, guys, Self-Reliance Festival is coming right away. October 14th and 15th. I say that's not that far away. It's in Camden, Tennessee. Tickets are $95, selfreliancefestival.com. I'm going to be there. Nicole's going to be there. John Willis, Jack Spirko, John Pugliano, Joel Salatin. Oh, Mrs. Cook beside me, whom you can't see yet. She's waving at the camera, and I'm being a dick and hogging the spotlight for this evening, but going to be a good time. And finally, guys, patchofthemonth.co. Run by there if you're looking for a way to support what I do. And you haven't subscribed already, you really should, because this month's patch was Guns Don't Kill People, or hang on, back up a little bit. In the voice of Dale Gribble, guns don't kill people. The government does. And it was inspired by him. God rest his soul. But if you are looking, if you like patches and you really want to do value for value exchange, $10 a month, $100 a year. Picked up 2 new subscribers this month, guys. We are, slowly and steadily getting to 100 subscribers. That was my goal way back when, and we're almost halfway there. So thank you guys for the love and support that you've given us so far. Okay, with that, I'm going to see if Mrs. Cook is here. Are we looking the right way? We are. Yes. You look as beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
Yeah, where you been all week?
Working.
What's that? What is that?
Yeah, I know. You tell me.
I love you. Having a good time? Things are going good at work?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been up to there? You made 2 trips, or no, just 1 trip out of town this week, didn't you?
Just one.
Was that to do with the daycare, the expansion, or what was that?
Yes, the corporation papers that we had to get done.
Do you guys love how we talk like we don't actually talk to each other? We save everything up. We don't say a thing to each other all week. We pass each other in the hallway. We sit down and have supper together. Don't say a word, just so we have something to talk about on our Friday night. It's true, isn't it, hon?
Pretty much.
Yeah. A matter of fact, I come in the house the other day and she's like, who the hell is this guy? He looks weird. And in case you happen to hear any weird noises, we have 1 dog in the background tonight making some kind of sucky noises or something. So who do we get in here tonight? I see David Ziegler, of course. It's 105 in Texas. So isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's we got David Ziegler piping. Good to have you. Backwoods Butcher, of course. And yeah, 105. Do you want to trade?
Well, actually, I just updated my weather network and it is 55 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's supposed to be. Am I wrong? I believe, is it tonight? It's supposed to be down to 6 degrees Celsius overnight. Take a look for me there, baby doll.
Well, it's supposed to drop down to 52 overnight.
52. Ooh. It is getting chilly. The elm tree, is it elm? The elm trees are losing their leaves, I believe.
They are,
yep.
and and we actually turned off our central air today. So it
Doesn't
and I turned it off at the daycare too.
doesn't
It's
mean
cold.
it's going to, not get warm again. But
The next 14 days, it is not giving them warm at all. Like
No.
it's not cold, but it's not giving warm.
you
So,
pretty much can guarantee around here that by the 15th of August, Jesus, that sounds so it's pathetic, isn't it?
well, and it is, and it's extra pathetic too because like Kelowna,
Yep.
sorry, I should know how to
BC
say,
is on fire.
is on fire. Northwest Territories is on fire, and I think they usually have snow around this
Well,
time.
all
of
I
year.
can say is Santa's chestnuts are roasting on an open
Yeah,
fire
and
up
we
north.
got-
It's bad.
So BC's on fire, Northwest Territories is on fire, and the Rockies got snow.
Yeah, fuck that.
So
And they had snow. So the local owner and his wife of Home Hardware, they went to the Rockies. Was that in June or was it? It wasn't July, was it, when they hit the snow? I think it was June.
I think
But it
June.
was awful. I mean, we live in them.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they got
yeah.
snow last night.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, Alberta wouldn't be a bad place to prep if it wasn't for the cold.
It does get cold.
Lack of
Yeah.
trees. Yeah. Oh, yes. One Step Closer mentioned that besides the West and the North being on fire, Trudeau's personal life's on fire too. So
Good.
good for him. Yeah. Oh,
That's
boy.
that's his karma.
Yeah, he's just getting used to where he's going to end up in the afterlife, I guess. Oh my God. Good luck. Yeah. Good night. Good luck and good night. And don't let the door hit you on the way out. Hey.
Yeah, well, at least I'm surprised she stuck with him.
She's
long.
smartened up. Yep, she's smartened up. There's been a few memes shared among some of the Telegram groups, things that are totally inappropriate to share on, live. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Karma is a thing. Piping, you are right. Piping or Pippin, I forget now. That's awful. But
No,
I talk to him all the
He
time.
deserves it, but you know what? I don't think she's much better.
No, not really.
To be
Whatever.
honest with you.
Yeah.
She's a liberal too. So
Let him go. I'm happy
Yeah.
to, whatever. We can't do nothing about it. It's fun to pick on him though, isn't
Oh,
it?
yes,
Yeah,
it is.
because he deserves it. And Backwoods Butcher says the cold isn't helpful. I know. I said I'm kind of actually rather excited. About this time I would start getting a little stressed out. Remember, because as soon as things start getting cold, I'd start thinking, oh my God, that first snowfall is coming. But that's not going to be a big deal this year, is it?
no.
1 or 2 properties to look after simply because they're property managed ones, but not things that, require me getting up at 5 o'clock and going out and blowing snow for 8 hours straight. Hey,
Nope, that's somebody else's problem now.
yep. I'm kind of excited. Next Wednesday, we sign the paperwork, which is
That's the last paperwork.
right. So
Yep.
I can't go to Montana on Wednesday. I have to go on Tuesday. So,
Yep.
oh yeah. That's
or
okay.
you could go Thursday.
No, because we're going to Edmonton on Thursday.
Oh, but you can't go Tuesday because you got to wait for that shipment to come in.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, we got all kinds of fun,
could
fun things.
You could always go. We could always stay an extra night on Sunday, and then we could drive down on Monday,
Yeah, that's true.
or
We
we
just
could
keep-
go to Lethbridge on Sunday, then go to Montana on Monday, and then come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pippin says must be nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. I have my suspicions that that's going to end up on a patch before too long. It hasn't. It's not this month's or next month's, but it is going to end up on a patch because, it must be nice. That's all I can say about that. So, and Backwoods says the first breeze that makes the hair on my neck stand up put me in a full panic to prep everything for snow.
Well, you should have been here today because it was miserable today.
Oh yeah, that it never warmed up today. It went from yesterday. This happens a lot in the fall. Yesterday was the hottest day of the summer for us. It was 33 Celsius, and today it feels like
it's freezing.
yeah, it's
cold.
we're not going to get a frost or anything.
No, but it's cold.
but
It's miserable.
the overnight a couple days ago said like I said, there was going to be one overnight that was going to be 6 degrees. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna zap all my flowers. Then they're gonna be gone.
Rachel Brown said, stop Children of the Corn to see as long as I can stay awake. If it's the new Children of the Corn, I'd like to hear about it. I have
Where-
not heard good things about it.
No,
at
that's
all.
with the girl later.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't look like it's super special or anything, but
nah.
that's okay. I still like to hear it. And Rachel has pretty good taste in movies, so I always trust her judgment on it. So, something else. Pretty cool announcement that I just found out earlier today. But Mr. William W. Fortune is going to be back on the show. It's taken me a little while to get a hold of him. I called him up today and he's like, I'm really busy, but we can talk right now. And I said, okay. So we booked it. He's like, how's Monday sound? well, I'm not going to argue with him. So Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern, so that'll be 11 o'clock Mountain Time, we will have Mr. Fortune on again. I'm quite excited about that. Everybody, I've had many people say, Tim, you need to get him back on for his new book. And it hasn't been for lack of trying. I made a few phone calls, talked to him. He was busy. And today I nailed him down. So we got him coming on. So unless, of course, he told me his publicist says he has somewhere else to be that day and we'll move it around. But he's coming. So I'm pretty excited. Supposed to be getting an advanced copy of that book here right away too. I didn't I haven't seen it yet, but it's probably waiting in Montana as well. So
More than likely.
yeah. So what are we going to do this weekend, baby doll? Not much.
Probably not
Just
much.
Pick around the yard a little bit. We're trying to get the last of the summer projects done.
Well, that, and it keeps on threatening that it's going to rain. So I don't know. Might not get much done this weekend at all. It all depends what the weather.
That's okay.
Right.
I'm cool with having a slightly lazy weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll still get shit done. We always do. We say that. We're like, I'm not going to do anything this weekend. And guess what? We do all kinds of shit, don't we?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I know I got to clean up the yard for the mowing and I don't know.
So I told you what tonight's topic is, right? Friday night food fight.
Yeah.
So I put out to the Telegram group that we would have a discussion. I said, free for all. We're going to do whatever we want to talk about. And Josek had the first and only real question I had. So since it was about food, I thought let's run down the gamut and we'll do a whole bunch of food based.
How many questions do you have?
Oh, I only have one question, but I got all kinds of things we can talk about. A lot of talking points, So Pippin said, I didn't get half the nothing I wanted to do this weekend. Yeah, I feel you there, brother.
Well, and when it's cold like this, it kind of seems like just, put your PJs on and just chill around the house type of weather. Because I don't know, there's not really much that we have to get done. Like,
no, I
know we got to clean up the yard a little bit before it does actually snow. And
I got the last of my outdoor projects done. We got the last piece of the fence done last weekend. We got the last fence. What am I talking about? The last piece of the deck. And the weekend before,
still got to take that tree down.
Oh yeah, at the daycare, I could do that. That would be good.
But no, we got to clean up around the yard here because Mr. Cook has a hard time not putting things away, and he has a hard time just throwing things away, like throwing things wherever they just go.
I get blamed for this shit.
Well, I can guarantee it's not my 2x4s and my 1x6s that are out there by the gate.
No, that is true. That they are yours, but I claimed them.
No, they're yours. And so that'll take an hour?
Yeah.
So
10 minutes. If I'd have did it today, we wouldn't have to do it tomorrow.
Well, maybe you should have did it today. And then we got to move the trailer, and I'd like to get those bags of mulch over to the daycare. And
yeah. So
it's just getting the yard ready for winter.
It's going to be kind of weird. One more thing before we get into the food stuff, but we basically have to round up all of the assets for all seasons maintenance, and they're all going bye-bye. That's going to be a bit of a sad day.
That's one thing we got to do, yeah.
We got a half-ton truck. We got a dump truck, a trailer, a zero-turn mower, 2 snow blowers, 3 backpack blowers, a push mower.
You said the ride-on?
Yeah, the ride-on. Trailer, yeah.
The dump truck.
Whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But it does mean that I'm allowed to get a new trailer, and
and I am going to put it on broadcast.
Are we talking about
Harbor
Freight? Oh no, go ahead.
No, Mr. Cook did say today, and everybody that's in the room can witness it, that where he's not doing snow this year, that stuff is going to get done around the house.
I'm going to do some indoor projects.
Projects.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody is witness.
Soon as the rent, you guys will see it all on Instagram. I'll post it there, but as soon as the rental's done, then absolutely. We actually, this is fun, and this isn't going to happen this winter, but we want to add another bathroom to the house.
We do.
Off of the master bedroom.
But that's not an indoor project. But
yeah.
But everybody who's online heard me say that you were going to do indoor projects. So in about 6 weeks, if I come on here and Mr. Cook has not done any indoor projects, and I ask why he hasn't done any, and he denies saying it, everyone is witness to it.
For the record, in 6 weeks, my ass is going to be in Tennessee.
Okay, sorry. I'll give you 8 weeks.
And I do believe we also officially canceled our trip to Hawaii, right?
We did.
So what are we doing instead?
We're going to be in Daytona and Tennessee and everything.
So we're going to hang around.
And it's not like we didn't cancel it willy-nilly either. Like there's a lot of issues going on down there.
Yeah.
And
it's a shit show.
And the locals are not exactly being the friendliest.
No, and you know
what?
So there's
and
no reason.
And you know what? There's no reason for us to go down there and just, like, there's no reason for us to be there when they're trying to rebuild.
No, they're absolutely. I think it's in poor taste. So
yeah, it is.
So we're gonna hang out a couple days after Self-Reliance. We're gonna meet the in-laws in Atlanta.
Yes.
We're gonna go check out Nashville for a bit and then down to Daytona Beach. Is that the plan? Yeah.
So we're gonna get a hotel on the water and
I'm never going back north. I'm gonna be south for fucking forever. It's gonna be great. So
and then we come back. I want my kitchen done and painted.
See, Backwoods never heard you. His internet
now.
cut out. He said,
no.
What did he say? So anyway, yeah. So
all that witness there.
I'm actually pretty excited. Oh yeah. We were in Daytona a year and a half ago, last March, right?
Yeah.
I got a nasty burn on the left side of my body.
That's because we were idiots and we're sitting on the balcony.
Oh, that's cool. Pippin, how far are you from Daytona? He does the duction cups, the ducks for the Jeeps. Have I was talking to Charlotte about it. She knows all about them.
Yeah.
She's been seeing them on TikTok, the ducks on the Jeeps, and she thinks they're the coolest thing. And I said, just so you know, I know a guy who makes the suction cups for the ducks, and they call them duction cups, which I think is a great dad name for something. So, okay, Mrs. Cook, the question that we're going to start with this evening, any great ideas for actually using your long-term food storage? So I would say
you have to elaborate a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're going to have to separate, because we have long-term food storage that's in 5-gallon buckets with Gamma Seal lids and Mylar bags. That is worst case scenario.
That's a no touch.
Yeah. That's a no touch unless
shit hits the fan.
Yeah. I don't know. Puppies and kitties are having babies together. It's like the it's bad. Right?
Well, that's that. The Mylar bag bucket are an absolute no touch until every other resource we have is tapped.
Yeah.
So because like once you start breaking into those, then you know that you're in trouble.
Yeah, because we're gonna at that point we're gonna be subsiding on a 100% carb diet, which ain't gonna be good. Not
for either one of us. No.
But let's pretend.
Yeah.
So let's start with the prepper pantry we have over the old cistern. So
yeah,
if we had to just, because we go back and forth. We take spells where we're really good about eating out of there, and then we take spells where we don't touch it for like 3 months, right?
But that's what it's for, though. Because,
absolutely.
Because if we ate out of there all the time,
right,
then we would be constantly filling it, and then eventually, then it's not so. It kind of counterreacts what you want to do, because then it's costing you too much money,
right?
Because if you have to constantly be using and then restocking, then it's just like
right. We
then you're not going to do it, because it does get expensive, right?
We tend to just buy a bunch, let it sit for a while, and then eat it. Which
we want to.
Yeah, but that's
if not,
cool.
It just sits there, right? Like,
so I would say let's start in the pantry, and I would say one of the things that we love to make is chili.
Yes,
and that is honestly, when we make it, probably 90% canned goods, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Except for the hamburger.
Yes.
And the peppers.
Of course. Now there's this big, I don't think you've ever been on here for the debate yet about whether chili has beans in it or not.
It has beans in it.
Yeah, I know it does.
The only chili that doesn't have beans in it is chili in Texas.
Right.
Everywhere else has beans in it.
But that's Chilean Texas. Texas chili, right? So that's not chili. It's
chili has kidney beans.
Yeah.
And brown beans.
Yeah. So that is
and always... I put corn and mushrooms in mine.
Yeah, and it's great. I love corn and mushrooms in the chili that you make. But that honestly is probably the single best recipe that we use that would clean up a shit ton of stuff that tastes really good.
Well, and when we get our I can never. It's not a dehumidifier.
Freeze dryer.
Freeze dryer. Yeah. I always thought call it dehumidifier.
It's
a freeze dryer. When we get that, I'm going to make a shit ton of that chili, and I'm going to freeze dry.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and we'll freeze dry some hamburger too. Lots of that, because that's the big thing. So you could easily, if we had no protein or very little, Byron says corn and chili.
It's really good.
It is. And mushrooms and chili are good.
And
too.
I use canned mushrooms, and it is really good.
But other than peppers and hamburger are the only onion. But we could very easily use dehydrated onions if we wanted to. Yes,
and you can use dehydrated peppers too.
That is very true. So, and Backwoods says I give everyone the finger and put baked beans in mine. We do too quite often. I put molasses beans.
Molasses beans. So my chili is canned tomatoes.
Yep.
Green,
Diced and whole usually, right?
Diced and whole, and
Yep.
then I use red and green peppers and onion.
Yep.
And then I put in hamburger, canned corn, canned mushrooms, kidney beans, and baked beans, and then
Isn't there a third bean, or is that's it? Is
just
it?
those two beans,
Okay.
and then I put in chili powder.
Yeah,
and
lots of chili powder.
Lots of chili powder.
I mean, it's really a shelf. If you don't include the hamburger or the peppers, it's a shelf thing. We could go in there right now and pick out enough stuff to make it chili if we wanted to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so the key is to have chili powder,
Yeah,
and salt and pepper. That's really it.
yeah.
Right?
I usually don't put salt and pepper in it though. I usually just put that on the meat.
Byron, I'm
So-
going to tell you right now, brother. He says I'm going to have to try it with corn.
You'll love it.
I can't. I mean, it feels weird not having corn in chili.
And when you mix it with the kidney beans and the baked beans and the corn and the mushrooms, and you put it on it's like it actually has substance.
Yeah, it's like
and
a goulash
it's
with
very,
oat. Yeah.
very, very filling. And actually, if you want to go to a next level, you can put macaroni noodles in it.
Well, that was
And
going
that
to be my
takes
next
it up to
thing.
the next level, and it's very filling.
Because another long-term dry storage food that we always have a lot of, well, in the past we did, not as much, but noodles, right?
Yep.
Noodles or rice. And we're pretty good at mixing things up with that too, aren't we?
Oh yeah,
Like,
oh yeah, I could make anything.
What's your favorite, like, make it your own noodle dishes type thing? What do you?
Noodles?
I mean, we love spaghetti, of course.
Well,
but
spaghetti,
yeah.
but then there's you can make butter noodles,
Yes,
which you take,
which is actually really stinking good.
which is just noodles with butter, and you can always add seasoning to it. Like you can put like ranch seasoning, or you can just put salt and pepper. And then, but I like with the rice, you can mix like
Your Spanish rice.
the Spanish rice, which is like hamburger, green pepper, onion, a couple cans of tomato soup, and the rice,
Right.
and you mix it all together. It's kind of like a stuffed pepper.
Yep.
And then, but then you can just take rice and you can mix a can of mushroom soup with it, which is very, very good. And if you throw some peas and corn in there, even better.
And that right there is 100. That could all be from
Yeah.
your shelf stable. I mean, we joke about my dad a lot. You know, we're always like, you know, he loves to doctor things up, but he is the king of doctoring things up,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's good.
And I love rice and mushroom soup. It's so good. And
Mushroom soup, honestly,
Yeah.
is it's such a good ingredient to things.
well, and when you mix it like that, you put a little bit of onion powder on it and some salt and pepper. And then then you could just have macaroni and tomato noodles,
Mhm.
which is just basically macaroni noodles with tomatoes, and you eat it with a little bit of onion powder and a big old thing of
All up with
butter.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's good too.
Oh man, there's a lot, and you know, those were some of our staple items for a lot of years.
Oh yeah,
We would-
because the kids like them.
Yeah.
and all these are kid friendly too. Like I don't know any kid. Like I'm sure they're out there,
they'll
but
pick around the stuff and
they will. But our kids loved the macaroni and tomato.
right, yes,
Right, they loved it, and they loved the Spanish rice.
yep.
They like the stuffed peppers, and you can make fried rice too,
Oh yeah,
which is rice, onion, a couple eggs, and soy sauce.
yeah, that's right.
and
yeah,
you
I
just
love
mix that all up. Yeah.
Maters and macaroni. Maters, French fried maters. But one of my favorites, and we're going to talk about some of these recipes as we go down anyway, but I love baked beans. Now, we
I
don't
do
eat them
too.
very often, but I mastered those over the years I wanted to learn how, and we, navy beans are my go-to. Probably most people's they are, I think.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so
because they're easy to work with.
yeah, I mean, on the East Coast, it was very much beans were a Saturday night meal. People would have them, and a lot of times they'd save them because they didn't want to cook on church day, so they'd eat them the next day too. But beans and wieners, or
Well,
beans and
that's
pork.
why I made that for the kids all the time. You open up a can of beans and you cut up a hot dog and you mix it together, and the kids love it.
Yeah, it was good.
The girls ate it all the time.
But I was pretty partial to my home baked beans when we'd make
Mhm.
them too. Took me a long time to get the kind of perfect the recipe though. Remember, because sometimes you'd add a little too much mustard and that kind of stuff.
Well, you
Mustard
remember
powder,
my I called it a hash for
Oh,
the
yeah.
kids. The
What
kids
was that?
absolutely loved it. It was just leftover mashed potatoes.
Yep.
So what you take a frying pan and you chop up half an onion with some butter and you fry it in the frying pan, and then you add your leftover mashed potatoes and you cut up about 8 or 9 hot dogs.
Now,
And you throw it in the potatoes and you mix it all together and it gets like this crispy crust on it, and the kids just loved it.
if you slide back a little bit, we would quite often make that out of our canned potatoes as well.
And the kids love it because then they put ketchup on it.
Mhm.
And you think you were giving them something that they've never had before.
We used to can, oh my God, like maybe close 50 to 100 some years, quart jars of diced potatoes, right?
Yeah.
And my God, it doesn't take, I don't know, I think maybe a 50-pound bag would do.
Oh yeah, well, and of course when we used them, we had to open up like 4.
Yeah, we'd open up
5
4 at a
jars.
time, 4 or 5, and we would, I mean, they're shelf stable, as long as you got a pressure cooker, well, they're a pressure canner, but we would, sometimes we would just fry those up with butter and salt and pepper.
And for the kids, I added hot dogs.
Yeah.
And they loved it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about home canned potatoes. They were one of our go-tos. We used, my God, oh yeah. They were always really, really good. I was trying to think of what else. Those were a lot of our,
and squash.
Oh yeah, we like
squash and carrots were a big thing with the kids.
Yeah, canned squash was good. We would heat that up with again butter and salt and pepper, wasn't it?
Well, I could get Alice, she'd sit there and just eat it cold out of the mason jar.
She used to. Oh yeah, remember her nose used to get orange. Was that from the sweet potatoes? Wasn't it?
Sweet potatoes and squash and carrots.
Yes.
When she was a baby, she ate so much of it, the tip of her nose went orange.
Frogs on a log, celery sticks with peanut butter and a few raisins.
We make those for the kids. We tried making those for the daycare kids, but they don't like celery.
I
can't do celery.
I hate celery. I don't
know
how to explain it, but it just tastes.
We use Cheese Whiz.
Sure.
On the celery.
Hey, Mr. Lemaster. Yours must have been burning. We were talking about you a few minutes ago. Good to have you. But yeah, those would probably be, I should have went in and walked around, but that was kind of our cleaning off the shelf things we would make that would go really well. Like they were cheap, but they would fill the kids up and they loved them. And we loved them too. I mean, I mean, Dad would something as simple as, we call it Kraft dinner, but they call it Kraft mac and cheese, don't they? Or macaroni and cheese?
I think they call it. Yeah, here it's KD.
Yeah, KD. So we have Kraft dinner up here, and I mean, and it's not very tasty anymore. But as a kid, I loved it.
It's gross.
Yeah,
I don't know what they've done.
They've upped the cardboard content, I think. And
I don't know. I don't know how the kids eat it. I really don't. Our girls eat it like it's going out of style, and they cook it in the microwave. It's so gross.
Now, if you have cheese powder on hand, we used to do that a lot. We'd have cheese powder and we'd make it with regular noodles, or we'd add a little cheese powder. But I mean, you could put hamburger, mushroom soup, tomato soup, peas, any of that stuff. You could mix any one or all of those ingredients.
I used to take the Kraft dinner and mix about 3 boxes of it with 2 cans of tuna.
Yeah,
and then,
tuna, I forgot.
And then added a can of peas and then put it in a casserole dish and put some shredded cheese on top.
That's right.
And it was tuna casserole, and the kids loved that too.
Even if we didn't have cheese, you could have done it with it. Oh, did you say egg noodles, or was that a different one?
We
used to do that.
I used to do with egg noodles, but if they wanted it, I just used the Kraft dinner.
Right.
Which I never ate because Kraft dinner is disgusting.
Byron says more sawdust these days. And so tuna, I know. So again, we always had tuna, and tuna used to be cheap. I mean, nothing's fucking cheap anymore. We all know this.
Can't even afford to buy hot dogs up here.
But it would be quite common to cook a box or 2 of Kraft dinner.
Yep.
And then put a can or 2 of tuna in it.
And peas.
Yep.
And then rate a casserole dish with, and if you want like a crunch thing, you can
crackers.
Crush up some saltines.
Yep.
Put that on top, and then a bunch of shredded cheese, and bake it until the cheese is melted. And the kids loved it. You
know, it's funny. Before we even met, I used to collect old cookbooks, and I don't know where some of them went, but I had a couple of the diner ones. Because you know me, I have like this really soft spot for 50s diner food, of course. And so much of what we're talking about reminds me of some of that diner food, you know, like shit on a shingle or whatever, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we used to do that. Yeah.
And sometimes the kids, like, even if I couldn't figure out what to make, I would just fry up some hamburger and open up a couple cans of gravy, and they would have the hot hamburger on bread,
on toast or bread. Yeah. We would toast it quite often, and that was good too. Yeah. It wasn't bad at all. But so I guess that kind of leads into, if we ever did need to crack those things open, I guess our biggest issue would be lack of protein, probably. But
right now, yes.
Right now. I mean, we have lots in the freezer, but that shit would probably be gone before we cut in, mostly gone before we'd ever think
And
about
we do
cutting
have
into
lots of
those.
peanut butter.
Yeah, that's true.
So
It's like, all right, kids, what are we having tonight? Plain biscotti and 3 tablespoons of peanut butter.
call it what Adam calls it, spaghetti.
Spaghetti, yeah.
Spaghetti. Can I have my spaghetti?
So Backwoods says cream of mushroom soup is a must-have.
Mm-hmm.
Buy the flats of it when it comes on sale because it's a really good food extender.
It's very versatile.
It
like
is, yeah.
You can use it in a lot of, like you can use it with your pork chops and your chicken, your rice. You can put it on. You can make like a stroganoff with egg noodles with it. Like you can use mushrooms. I use it for shepherd's pie.
Yep.
And
something else we keep on hand. We go back and forth, but instant potatoes.
Yeah.
We actually, I for me, so growing up in elementary school, they were always instant potatoes. And so
I don't like instant potatoes.
I know.
Like I'll eat them if I have to, but I don't like them.
My grandmother used to always have TV dinners for me too, right? And so we would I just had a taste for instant potatoes, and you've cooked them for many years. Yeah, and they're not bad.
And another good thing is the cream of chicken soup.
Yes,
that's very versatile too.
Although they've cut this, I mean, you
have to probably add extra salt, but you can use that like for your soups and your stews. I use it for chicken pot pie.
Right.
You can use it with your chicken meat, and it works good as a gravy.
Actually, we never mentioned stew, but stew is something you could make with anything off the shelf. Just
anything you want.
Any vegetables you have, frozen or canned, throw them in a pot.
Add some beef base and add some salt and pepper and an onion, and you're good.
My grandmother used to make doughboys, which what's the real name for them? Dumplings. And took me forever to learn how to do that, but we burned them a few times. Remember, they would sink, and then
because I made like a pot enough to feed about 100 people, and it would sink down to the bottom.
Kind of like the manwich I made the other night.
Spoon wasn't big enough to get it all, but
Becky come home the other night, and I said, "Honey, I made supper. It's manwich / chili." And I said, "I made enough. I made as much as you used to make with spaghetti." She's like, "Oh dear, we ate it for 3 days. It's pretty good though." Yeah. And Nate says, "I'm going to start the first fight. If you put pineapple on pizza, there's something wrong.
There is something wrong with you."
Yeah, I mean, I've eaten it before. I can do it, but
my nephew,
I don't love it.
Our nephew loves it. Noah, he will not eat pizza unless there's pineapple on it, it's disgusting.
When I was in elementary school, there was this fad of putting peanut butter on pizza.
Oh, gross!
And I did for a while, but yeah, I'm not a big fan. Backwoods says, "My wife makes fun of me because we still have 2 boxes of instant potatoes that I panic bought during COVID." You know what? If that's all you still have, that's not too bad. But
they're not very good. I don't like them.
The Idaho ones from Costco are probably the best.
I think if you make them with milk, they might taste a little bit better. I don't know. It's just because they just have that aftertaste that is like, it's just cardboard tasting.
Yeah, they do store them in cardboard, I suppose. But
yeah.
Ooh. Pippin says pineapple, ham, and bacon, delicious.
That's a Hawaiian.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And Byron says he has instant taters stored in Mylar. That's one thing we haven't done yet.
No, we do have to do
pretty expensive. So I have a list. We're due this. It was last winter that we started that storage.
Yeah,
right?
It's
only been a year, so we'll
start in November again.
But we hit about 6 months, and we what we did was we stocked up on a bunch of items, but we got nothing of the other ones. So this fall we're gonna get back in it, and I think we have most of the buckets, don't we? Or maybe we don't. Maybe anyway, we'll order more. But yeah.
So let's see. We have more room now because we've cleaned out the basement.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And yeah, we're just gonna we'll make video on it too again because it's been a year since we did it. So freeze dried potato. Yeah, that's all it is. Just freeze dried. Or is it even free? Yeah, they are freeze dried.
Well, they're potato flakes.
Yeah, so they must be freeze dried.
Potato. I don't know how they do it. I don't know.
I think I always assumed they were either just dried or freeze dried.
Yeah, but they're like they look like little tiny.
I think that's what happens to
flakes.
them well, we're gonna have to try. We'll make mashed potatoes, and when we do finally,
that's probably what they're probably mashed potatoes,
freeze dried.
Yeah,
and then they break them up. They flake them apart.
Yeah, because I don't think you could freeze dry a chunk of potato. Like, what would happen with it? Like,
I don't know.
Would it go brown?
No, nothing. No. Nothing discolors. At least not. Other than Skittles, they turn inside out like a David Finch movie or something. But okay. Favorite food, Mrs. Cook. She doesn't know all the rest of these, but I figured I would just make a list and we would talk about some of her favorite things. Quarter potatoes and smash them. Yes.
Like
There's no rules. You just get to
Like
answer
the
whatever you
food that
think.
I would eat regardless.
Sure, let's say desert island food. If you could only,
Pizza.
yeah, I kind of figured you would say that.
I love pizza.
What's the best way to have pizza?
Honestly,
Yeah, it's fine.
I like really, really thick crust. A little bit of sauce. It has to have a thick crust on the outside, and then it's got to have like a metric shit ton of cheese, and then canned mushrooms, and that's all I like on it.
Becky will be like, "Hun, can you make me a pizza?" I'm like, "Sure." She'll be like, "Lots of mushrooms," and I'll put a can. She's like, "Lots of mushrooms." You don't want to sleep on the couch now, do you?
But it's got to be canned mushrooms. It can't be fresh. I don't like fresh mushrooms because they just don't have any flavor.
And it was funny because when we first met, I wouldn't touch a mushroom to save my life. And then you got me into fresh mushrooms, and I love fresh mushrooms cooked up now. But I just still don't like the rubbery texture of.
I love them. There was this pizza place years and years ago when I was younger, and it was in Sarnia where I grew up.
What was it called?
I can't
was
remember.
It Dressy's or
something? It wasn't Dressy's. It was anyway, like that's how I like my pizzas.
Yeah.
And I would call this guy, and it was privately owned, and I would tell him how I wanted it. And that pizza was delivered perfect
every time.
Oh, and man. it was so perfect. And I would get a large, and it would last me all week because I take it to work and everything. But it was the best pizza I'd ever had.
Everybody out there, throw in the comments what your favorite type of pizza is. Frenzies or whatever your mom says. Oh, biscuits and gravy, last meal. Yeah. You know what?
See, I don't like biscuits. I don't mind them.
I think, boy, I was going to go pizza until Kyle mentioned biscuits and gravy.
I was going to say he's pathetic.
When we go to the States, I won't quite, but I'd walk into a hotel, and if they didn't have biscuits and gravy for breakfast, I would probably say no thanks. We'll go to a new hotel because fuck me. It's no good for you at all, but boy, they are tasty.
Yeah, we went and bought a whole bunch of the canned gravy so you could make them. Yeah,
I had some and now staying away from it for a while. So Nate says meat lovers pizza. Okay.
You could have it just without the biscuit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Backwood says it's his weakness. Absolutely. Do you guys get morels up there? I don't think we do we? Those are the mushrooms.
I don't think so.
Yeah. No. But I would say if I have to pick, half vegetarian, haters, meat lovers, I guess. Yeah. And half Hawaiian. Yeah. So growing up in my hometown, and it's kind of cool that the pizza place is still there because the girls get to go there.
Yeah.
Ricardo's, and it's some Lebanese people. It's kind of weird, a Lebanese family that makes pizza. But I grew up on that pizza, and it obviously shows. But from probably about, I think they opened in grade 5 or grade 6, and they'd go down there for a slice, $2.75 for the biggest slice you could ever eat. Remember how good they were? And it's fairly thin with a crispy crust on the crust part's crispy, but the underside soft. And stringy mozzarella, decent amount of sauce, and then all the meat you could eat, right? Pepperoni, salami, bacon.
Yeah. Well, see, I'd get the cheese pizza from Ricardo's, which I like because I didn't like how they used the giant pieces of salami and pepperoni because, well, that stuff gives me heartburn, but it was just too much. But like every once in a while, I don't mind a little bit of ham on my pizza, but it's just got to be like a 2-inch layer of cheese and then an inch layer of mushrooms, and that is like the perfect pizza. So the crust has to be about 2 inches thick.
In grade 7 and 8, I took home ec instead of shop class, and Leon Durnford, anyway, him and I were partners in home ec class cooking, and we were to make pizza, and we were supposed to both bring our own ingredients. Is he one of the dogs dreaming over there?
He's dreaming.
Yeah. Anyway, and so we each brought 1.5 pounds of cheese, and we made a pizza in home ec class, and it all just rolled off the sides, went down and burnt on the burner, and we were like 3 hours getting it scraped off after class. So
idiots.
Backwood says $1 pizza at 2 a.m. is still and will always be the perfect pizza. So that's the beauty of Ricardo's. I went from eating it for school parties in grade 6 to eating it as a hangover cure at 2:00 in the morning on a Saturday night in downtown Digby.
Yeah.
And it was always disappointing because Friday nights they would maybe stay open, they maybe wouldn't. So you'd never know. But Saturdays, guaranteed they'd stay open till.
Oh, yeah.
The bar last call was 2, so it was 2:30. You'd get out of there. You'd wander down.
And they had all kinds of it made.
Oh, yeah. And they had fried chicken there, too. The only Saturday night at like 2 a.m. is the only time you get their fried chicken.
Oh, gross.
And I never ate it, but Anthony used to eat it all the time. And,
yeah, and you imagine that sitting in your guts.
Well, we always used to say the pizza, the grease would just absorb the alcohol, right? So
yeah, but fried
Jesus,
chicken.
can you imagine?
Gross.
That's 20 years ago. I couldn't imagine. I'm just thinking out loud, staying up till 2:30 in the morning, getting drunk, going and eating pizza, going home and I would be dead now if I did that today. So, oh my God. Yeah, Backwoods says you didn't even know it was on it. It wouldn't matter if they told you because you're so drunk you wouldn't know anyway. So, oh my God. And we used to get Donair sauce, which for those who don't know what Donair sauce is.
Oh, yeah.
Up here, it's basically a can. It's basically a can of sweetened condensed milk and garlic powder they mix together. And it's fucking like, it's like 83% sugar.
Yeah.
And you would dip your pizza in it. Oh,
dip your pizza in it. And if you're drunk enough, like Mr. Cook, you scoop your pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And then you drink it out of the container.
Or lick it. They did send them in these, what do you call it? Little styrofoam cups, and I'd be scraping it. I'd hook my finger and scrape it and lick it. Oh, yeah.
All that sugar. Oh
my God. I'm surprised I didn't end up with diabetes. And Pipin says, oh, goodness, I'd be in the men's leaking all kinds of things. I'd probably be. Did I ever tell him the story about we went to McDonald's that night?
I don't know. Oh, probably.
Anyway, I'm going to tell you. So here it is. So my buddy and I, Alex, this was a Friday night, and they used to have dollar drinks. And from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, drinks were $1. From 11 till 12, they were $2. And we were broke. We didn't have much. We had about $10 for drinks and $5 for pizza. And so we got hammered. So the statute of limitations is long gone. Don't judge me for any of this. But yeah, it's 20, 25 years ago. We got drunk and we're like, okay, well, let's go down to Ricardo's. It's only a block away. He's like, I'll drive. I'm good. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm like, whatever. Anyway, so we drove down to Ricardo's and they closed early because there wasn't a big enough crowd in the bar. So he's like, well, I'm still hungry. Let's go to McDonald's. And McDonald's is all the way the other side of town. And we're like 3/4 the way out of town. And he's like, I probably shouldn't be driving. I was like, oh, God. Anyway, didn't matter. And I'm like, I don't care. All I know is as soon as we get to McDonald's, I got to get out and take a leak. And he's like, okay, all right. So we pull up and there was somebody in there that I did not want to see in that kind of state. I was drunk as a skunk. And I'm like, okay, well, you get in the drive-thru, you place the order. As you pull ahead, I'll get out and take a leak somewhere. So I'm like, it didn't matter. So I get out and I do my business right behind McDonald's. Nobody can see me.
Behind the driveway.
Behind the drive-thru
sign.
Nobody's around, whatever. I do my business. And as I'm zipping up, I lean forward and I realize I was right in front of the fucking window to the break room. And there was like 4 people in there eating their late supper. And I'm like, yeah. So there you go. Stupid. The things we did. Anyway, so those days are gone, thank God.
Nobody can see me. Well, I guarantee people saw him.
I didn't see them, so they couldn't see me. That's the way it worked. I didn't get arrested for indecent exposure, so we did fine. Jesus Christ, can you imagine? Oh, yeah. So, all right.
Well,
yeah.
I used to do that too. When I worked for Don Cherry.
Yep.
I would go into work at about 7, and then I'd get off around midnight. I'd go to the bar, and I'd be plastered by 2:30 in the morning. And then I would go home, go to bed, and I'd be up at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And thinking of statutes of limitations, and I don't know if Mom's still online here, but it was one time I went out drinking on the Friday night. And I was with my friend Rod and a couple other people.
Of course.
And I said, I can't get too drunk because I got to help my grandma on Saturday morning. With the yard sale. And they're like, oh, no, we won't get drunk that bad. And then, yeah, obviously we got drunk pretty bad. And we were drinking till 3 in the morning. And then I went home. She's
still there, yeah.
I went home and I passed out. And my alarm woke up and it was at like 7:30 in the morning. I got in my car. I don't even think I got dressed. I think I was still wearing the clothes that I wore to the bar. And I went to my grandma's house and I'm like, I'm here. I was still drunk. I was so drunk. And I went to her house and I helped her get everything out ready for the yard sale. And I'm sitting there and I could feel myself swaying. And then I told her, I'm like, oh, I'll be right back. And she's like, where are you going? I said, oh, I forgot something at my place. And I ran back home and I passed out.
Oh,
I didn't go back. I completely, that was it.
Oh.
I don't even remember. I was drunk helping her set things up for a yard sale. And I didn't even know where I was. I was so,
and you know damn
so
well
hammered.
she knew.
Oh, of course she
Yeah,
knew.
you know.
If she didn't know her, she was oblivious to it.
I used to think that if I would eat salt and vinegar chips before I went home, Mom couldn't smell it on me. So there you go.
Yeah.
4-hour drunk sleep later. I'm last night in the show when I was talking about the power outage, so the big 2003 power outage.
Yeah.
That night we were at the Sunset Tavern for 15-cent wings and half price seafood, 2-for-1 seafood.
Mm-hmm.
We would go out there and get hammered all the time. We would drink until they would close. It was only 1 o'clock or so, and then we'd go back to the milkman. I know the milkman, right? His name was Blair. He used to bring all of our milk to Dairy Queen. I'd forgot about this guy till just the other night, and he would stay overnight at the Kingfisher in Digby and party with us, and then he would go on the rest of his route the next morning. So we'd always go back to his hotel at the Kingfisher and get hammered. So we'd drink till like 4 a.m, and we'd have to be at Dairy Queen for 8:30.
Oh,
and
hated that.
Oh my God, we were still drunk.
It was work's fault.
It was. I
They
mean,
didn't have to open at 8:30 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Pippin did a thing on the power outage for Lot's history too. That's cool. That was you got to experience it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I lived in Ontario when that happened, and I don't know, like anybody can Google it. Anyway, I grew up. I was born and raised in Sarnia, and
which is in Ontario.
Which is in Ontario, southern Ontario, and it borders Lake
Michigan, basically, or Detroit, basically.
Detroit and Port Huron, which is Michigan. So we just take the bridge over to Michigan, and so what they call Sarnia chemical, we have an area called Chemical Valley. And it's basically like it. I don't know what exactly they do, but it's like
DuPont and everything. They
Dow Chemical, Shell, all that. And it's like this whole area. And basically anybody that's ever worked there for longer than like 20 or 30 years, they always end up with some sort of like a cancer or like, and it's dangerous. And of course they put the chemicals into the river and they don't recommend you eat any of the fish from the river. And it got to the point where we couldn't even swim in it anymore. And it was really, but like every school in Sarnia is equipped with sirens in the yard that would go off every Monday at noon. And it was like like
a Silent Hill siren?
Yeah, like a Silent Hill siren. It would go off every Monday at noon just for testing. And because I'm 100% convinced if Chemical Valley blew, it would wipe Sarnia right off the map. There would be nothing left. And during that outage, I was living just what they call in Cardiff Acres, and you could see like all the sirens went off. And of course, everyone knew something was up because it wasn't on a Monday. And you could see, and then a broadcast went over saying that they wanted everyone to roll up towels and everything and block all their door jambs and make sure all your windows were closed and that everyone had to stay inside. And you could physically see a cloud coming towards the city. And I guess at that time there was something when it went down, there was a big fire and a couple people were killed. Ooh. And something backed up into it. And it was gross. And of course, and if you, the wrong type of day, anytime you went through Chemical Valley, it always had like a rotten egg smell.
Yep. Like
H2S gases. And like, it was, so when that went down, we had to stay in, I can't remember how long it was for. I can't remember if Mom remembers. I think they wanted everybody to stay in for 24 hours.
That's crazy.
And it was scary because like for storage, you don't know what's coming at you and you don't know what's in the air. You don't know what's.
How do you even prep for that kind of thing?
You don't you just roll things up. And blocked all your door
Probably
jams, and
nowadays, if we lived there, we would have gas masks, I'm sure.
Yeah, like it was,
or filter masks.
Well, and it's scary because you don't exactly know what it is.
Right.
Like, is it something that, okay, this is just a precaution, or is this something that if I actually go out there, is it going to potentially kill me? Like, you don't know what it is.
That's what I talked about on the show last night. Was the big part of these things is the unknown, right? Everybody gets scared because you don't have any information, and then people just start making shit up, right?
Well, and that's the thing, and Sarnia is like, honestly, it is a dangerous city. Like, they're like I said, if that blew, it would wipe it right off the map, because so days. I think we had to stay inside for days. It was and like basically stay inside with no power, and like it was in the summer, so no heat, no air conditioning, nothing, right? And it was miserable. And
no open windows,
no open windows,
no open doors. You're just
because and again, there's that fear. It's like, okay, well, if I go out or let my kids out or let my animals out, is it going to kill us? Right? Like you don't know what's like. Or like, if I can't go to work, what if I go to work? Am I going to die? Or like it, because you don't know what's in the air.
And nobody could actually give you a real answer, could they? For ages, probably never did, to be honest. But
no, and it's still like that. And like the town still smells like rotten eggs. And
don't miss it, do you?
Oh, not in the least. No.
Although we live 30 minutes from the biggest friggin' oil depository in all of Canada. Right. So, and we're fucking downwind from the prevailing winds. So.
But they don't call it Chemical Valley.
No, that's,
you know what I mean?
So that wouldn't be much better, probably. But
no,
we, at least if it's a half hour away, we might have some time to egress, right?
Yeah, I think Sarnia would go up pretty quick.
Favorite fast food restaurant?
Oh, geez.
I know. Fast food kind of sucks, but
I know. I don't really like fast food.
I know what you're gonna say. McDonald's.
You know what?
Oh, Gracie's in here.
Montana's isn't fast food.
No, it's fast casual, right? So, Amy's on too, who can hold their breath the longest.
Yeah, because that's example. Because we used to live in Corunna,
right?
So you had to go through Chemical Valley to get to Corunna. So when you start Chemical Valley, it was the rotten egg smell. So we used to hold our breath so we didn't have to smell it because it stunk so bad. And it's basically, either you breathe or you pass out. So, I would say I like the chicken strips from Wendy's.
Yeah, you do. That's true. You do love Wendy's.
But I do love. But if I just wanted a snack, it would definitely be the French fries from McDonald's and their Diet Coke.
Let me see.
And I do like Burger King.
Does Waffle House count as fast food? Okay. Because
no, they're fast.
They are fast, but they're not. I don't know. What would you call? I mean, it's a diner. It's not fast food. So, but it's KFC. I was going to say backwoods. KFC is pretty close to my favorite too.
You know what? I used to like KFC.
Yeah.
But it's pitiful now. Have you seen the size of their the legs of chicken you get? It looks like a chicken wing.
It's a quail leg, is what it is.
And I don't know if they're doing something different now, but remember we got that bucket of chicken and it sat in the fridge and the girls went to go heat it up and there was like an inch of grease on the bottom of the bucket. And I don't know if they're just using something different, but it's way more greasier than what it used to be.
So I did a few months ago, or a couple of years ago, I think Charlotte and I, it wasn't that long ago. Anyway, we were in Wainwright and I'm like, hey, let's go out for supper and, or for lunch. And we went to KFC and they had new strips. They were like white meat strips.
Yeah.
They're really good. They're kind of lightly breaded. They're probably my favorite, but, Arby's I also really enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say probably somewhere between Arby's and KFC for me. I'm trying to think if there's any other place I'd like to go.
I think I would go get a large Diet Coke and a large fry from McDonald's, and then go get a Whopper from Burger King.
I know you would. Yeah.
If you could pick a couple from each place, because like the burgers at McDonald's, if I'm really hurting, I do like the Big Macs. But it's not something that I would go out of my way to have.
I forgot Popeyes is decent too. They have good chicken.
Popeyes gives me heartburn, and I think it's just because it's got that little bit of extra spice in it. But
I did have at prepper camp last year. What's the chicken place? Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. I don't like Chick-fil-A.
We had it. I know we had it in Nashville.
I've had it a couple times, and I don't like it.
But it was good at prepper camp. They were fresh sandwiches. I thought they were pretty tasty. So this
Mm.
2 people said Steak and Shake, and we've never gone to one. I seen
I have
one in
seen them.
Daytona when we were in Daytona. They
There-
had them. There's
Wasn't there a
one
Steak
in
and Shake in
Edmonton.
No,
No?
wasn't there one in where we stayed when we went through Estevan? What is that?
Minot.
Minot. Is there one
Yeah,
in Minot that we
maybe.
seen and we didn't go?
There's a really good diner in Minot. I know that. I love me a diner. I always look for diners. Pipe wants to know how you don't like Chick-fil-A.
I did not. I don't know. Maybe it's because we just got a bad batch of it, but it was bad.
I think it's a type of thing that has to be fresh and hot. It doesn't
Yeah.
taste very good because the night we got it through Uber Eats, it wasn't super hot.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, and it was really, and it tasted like it was overcooked. And yeah, I don't know. I just,
Hot and Now? What's that?
that's the one that you went, that burger place that was across the street from the hotel. Remember, they were really quick. They only had the basic menu.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not Hot and Now, Mom. In-N-Out Burger.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
In-N-Out is fucking incredible. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite burger joint. But there's
Yeah.
so few of them, right? So
I think are they only West Coast?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're like
they're not.
there's
like,
a big fight between In-N-Out Burger and Whataburger maybe or something. People are like some people like one and some people like the other, but
yeah. So In-N-Out's not in the East Coast. then.
no, definitely. I don't believe so
No.
anyway. So somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I would say if I got to go with American stuff, then I would. In-N-Out Burger's incredible.
American stuff. I would.
Waffle House. I mean, if that was the only place I could eat, I would be happy. I think my heart and stomach wouldn't be very happy, but I would be for a little.
Now
while.
I'm gonna the McDonald's in the States tastes way different than the McDonald's up here, and I don't care for it as much down there. Like I
No.
find their fries taste different. The Wendy's didn't taste the same. Like
Things, taste different, right?
I don't know. Like I don't think I have a favorite fast food in the States. I'm trying to think.
Piping says Big Kahuna Burger. What are you eating there, Brad's at a Big Kahuna Burger? Could I have a drink of your tasty beverage to wash it down with?
No, the problem is I'm
Just
not
trying to
I'm not a
ignore
burger person.
Right.
And when we travel with Mr. Cook, everywhere, let's go get a
Hey,
burger.
look at that. We just got a shout out Random Rick Reviews, Triple R over on Twitch. We've been seeing some traffic from Twitch lately. It's great to
Nice.
have you because, feel free to hit a follow over there. I don't normally, solicit followers, but I'm trying to build the Twitch area up. So anyway, keep going,
Yeah,
baby.
no.
Though.
Oh, Gracie said, yeah. So there was this little diner we went to in England. And
It's called McDonald's.
no, Gracie, do you remember the name of it? It was right across from our hotel. And they had a buffet.
Right.
That's the buffet place I was telling you about. And you go through, and they actually have these giant turkey breasts, and they had ham and roast beef and mashed potato. It was
Yes.
like this great big huge Sunday
Carvery.
the
Amy put it
carvery,
up
yeah,
there.
carvery, and you get these massive plates, and they just carved the turkey breasts were huge. I've never seen turkey so big in my life.
British food's kind
Yeah.
of bland, isn't it?
Yeah, but this was the best. We ate there, I think, 3-4 times. It
You
was
liked
so
it, didn't
good.
you?
Oh, it was so good.
Random Rick Reviews just wanted to know where else we're trying to grow. Really, just Twitch. Everywhere else is growing great. I just haven't put any work into Twitch yet. So I'm gonna figure that out this winter. We're gonna spend some more time over there because I don't think there's enough preparedness related content at all. So hey, look at that. Nice. And over here, yeah. Right now we are streaming on 7 different platforms. We're on Facebook, 2 places in YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey. Did I say Facebook? And Facebook.
And
So,
Facebook, yeah.
there you go. And
No.
Angus had to come up and say hello to
But I know
everybody,
we
so,
did. Yeah, we did go to McDonald's in Paris, and it was gross.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know. There's not really any fast food place in the States that really.
So random, you are right. I fucking love Sonic. They're in MySpace. I'm trying
because it's a hamburger joint. Everywhere we go, it's like, hun, let's go get a burger. I don't really like burgers. And
When
it's
we-
like, and
when we-
everywhere we go, it has to be a friggin' hamburger
when
joint.
we took our 3-week trip to Vegas and San Diego,
I told him if we go to another place with fucking
like, if we go
burgers,
to
I am
another
going to lose
god-
my shit.
I
Just
think
like-
I ate a burger every supper for fucking 19 days straight.
my
It was
God.
incredible.
I was just like, everywhere we go, I'm just like, if we go one more place with a burger, I am going to lose it because I don't like him. I will eat them, but I don't like hamburgers.
And we would drive
really.
by. I'm like, hey, let's stop in there. I bet they got good burgers.
No, it would be more like hey, hon, what do you want for supper? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Let's see what they have. Oh, let's go here. It's a burger. And then you look and it's a damn burger joint every friggin' time.
When me and the girls went to Great Falls in Montana, we went to a place called the Burger Bunker, and it was incredible. They had like this.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, you're missing out. Yeah.
No, actually, I'm not.
You said, I see one of you is an American, the other's a communist.
He's the communist.
Unfortunately, we both currently live in the People's Republic of Kazakhstan, but we do own land in Tennessee. So, and apparently Angus had to come up. Coney Island hot dogs. Jack in the Box is good, but Sonic's incredible. We had, they have one in Camden, Tennessee.
Where we went and they have hot dogs.
They have hot dogs.
I'll eat a hot dog. Yeah.
Yes, and they have those chili cheese taters. Chili cheese taters.
Everything has to be a burger with.
And they have like these mile-high goddamn shakes that are just incredible. They're man.
Yeah, I don't know. Every place has to be a damn burger with you. I don't understand.
I've only had Jack in the Box once. That was in San Diego, and it was okay.
I think I had it once.
But there was. Tennessee has good barbecue. We got to go to a barbecue place.
We went to a good barbecue place in Daytona. It was really good.
There was actually a really good Mexican place in Daytona as well.
Now I find when you go to authentic Mexican restaurants, though, it like okay, I know it's authentic Mexican food.
I know what you're gonna say,
but it's not. But I find it's kind of bland because when we went down to Tijuana, the food was so bland because the actual spices and stuff are American, right? They're not Mexican.
It'd be like going to a Chinese, going to a restaurant in China and being like, "Where's the chicken ball?"
Exactly, right? Like, so you go down there and they don't have your El Paso seasoning that they put on everything, right? So it's just kind of like, so we're eating it. It's like, oh, well, this isn't very good, right? Like, it's very bland. Yeah,
we've done that twice because we had some in California that time too.
Yeah, it was bland.
But that's our own. I mean, it's like trying. I mean, it'd be like going to what do you call it? Going to Italy and being like, yeah, do you guys have stuffed crust pizza?
Well, and I think in Italy when they serve pizza, it's not cut. I think you eat it with a fork and knife. I think it comes as one whole pizza.
Yeah,
but it is true. Like it is very bland. And the place in Daytona was okay. You know what? It was fun to try.
First place I ever had guacamole that I liked.
Yeah, I don't like guacamole.
They made it fresh right at the table, and it had a lot of lemon juice, and it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
He's pathetic.
He is. Favorite restaurant that you've ever eaten at in your entire life? Do you have any certain places that you have a memory of that you really enjoyed? I think we've had Culver's, haven't we? Midwest, try Culver's. What is Culver's? I think I've had it, but
well, I'd say old restaurant from when way back.
Right.
Probably Ponderosa.
The old Ponderosa
in Port
used to be good. Yep.
They closed. I used to go there with my grandma all the time, and that was like their chicken wings and their buffet spaghetti was like the best I could. But lately, like Montana's is always a hit for us, and I love Swiss Chalet.
Yeah.
But
they don't have Swiss Chalet in the States, of course. They don't have Montana's either, but that's fine.
No,
they're both just fast casual dining places.
But we went to Ponderosa in Orlando last year, and it was so disappointing because it wasn't the same. They don't have the chicken wings anymore. The chicken wings were like the best thing in the entire world. Like my grandmother used to steal them on a plate, and she would put them in a Ziploc bag. Because they were good cold too, and they had like just this little bit of extra spice on them, and they were so good, but they don't have them anymore.
What's the buffet we go to? Oh, Golden Corral now.
Golden Corral. I do like
they've
Golden
stepped
Corral.
up their game. They've taken the place of the old Ponderosa.
Yeah, no, I know some of the food is pretty blah, but Golden Corral is always a hit for me.
Pippin says closed in a while. I wonder if is that Ponderosa Pippin that closed in, because he might be near Orlando. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because that was one of the only ones left.
Yeah, there's not very many left.
But it was disgusting. It was old. It was dirty. The food was disgusting.
And in the States, when I was a kid, because like I said, we used to go over the bridge, but I always liked Bob Evans.
Yes.
And I do like...
is Bob Evans the one that we went to?
That was Cracker Barrel.
No, I like Cracker Barrel.
Oh, no, Bob Evans in Maine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, What was the place that I really liked the sausage and gravy?
That was Bob Evans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was so good.
No, I do like Bob Evans, and I do like Cracker Barrel. And but I find like even their food doesn't taste the same as it did like, you know, 20 years ago. But I do, yes, the buffets, actually, believe it or not, the buffet
at Circus,
they're closed down now.
Yeah.
But the buffet at Circus was the best buffet I've ever
so
been
good.
to.
And it wasn't, I mean,
it wasn't
that expensive, all things considered.
But the breakfast buffet at the Flamingo, was really really good.
No, is it Famosas or what are they? The orange juice and champagne, is that what
mimosas?
That's
it. No, the buffet at the Flamingo for breakfast was incredible. But I have to hit a Golden Corral every time I go to the States. I do like that. And
I was just thinking, a restaurant that I've always thought about, and I did look them up recently and they've closed down, was that Ruby Tuesday's Diner in San Diego.
Oh, and that was really
that was the first time I ever had a malt shake.
Oh, and guess what?
What is it?
You got a burger there.
Oh, of course I did. Yeah, burger and fries. You know I did. I always do. But it was, that was a cool place. You went in and you felt like you were in a 1950s diner with the red and blue and
Now, when we go, like if we ever go to Vegas again, or if anybody ever does go to Vegas, I do recommend Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, you had
it was like you,
and
unfortunately, it was cheaper than the Paris restaurant in the Paris hotel. But if you ever go to Vegas, I recommend booking ahead of time. Hell's Kitchen restaurant was incredible. The risotto was so good. The it's on the costly side, so make sure it's one of those things that you allot for. But if you can get in, Hell's Kitchen was really really good.
You bragged about that for a long time.
Yeah, and I definitely would go back to that.
Pipin says fudge. She said Ruby Tuesdays was a good part of my 20s. I really enjoyed it. I looked it up and they had a really hard time getting through COVID, and a lot of them shut down. So I don't think there's many.
A lot of people had a hard time.
Restaurants were the hardest hit by far.
Yeah, and then I'd have to say, I don't know, but I think in Canada, my go-to always is Swiss Chalet or Montana's.
So they're talking about pizza here. So New York or Chicago?
Not Chicago. I
didn't like the deep dish.
I don't like Chicago
fucking
pizza.
Loved it. Now I would still
New York for sure.
I would still take a run over by a steamroller slice of New York City pizza all day long. That was the first pizza I ever had outside of Canada in my life. I mean, I was 18, went to New York City, and I fell in love with their pizza. But
now, whenever we go to the mall, you know how you go to the food court and they have all the restaurants and stuff. I always go towards I always gravitate towards the pizza place with the really thin.
I can't think of the name of it. They have it everywhere.
Yeah, and the big mega slices.
Yeah,
I always gravitate towards that. But Chicago pizza, I can't handle all that tomato on it. I just can't do it.
I know, and I loved it. That day we were there, and the great big they had the air show going on. So we were sitting downtown Chicago. We were outdoors, sitting like on it wasn't a balcony, but sidewalk seating or whatever. And they had the air show going on, and you had these massive fighter jets coming through, just roaring, and then the sound was just bouncing off the walls. And we're sitting there, my first time ever having deep dish Chicago pizza. Oh, I enjoyed it. I fucking loved it. It was so good.
Well, there was this place when I was a kid, they used to make, it was Cicerelli's, and they're called calzones, but they called them puffios.
Basically an inside out pizza, right?
Yeah, but they were so good. And it was just like a thin layer of dough around it, and they would put so much cheese in it. And then they wouldn't put any sauce in it, so it wouldn't be soggy. And then you dip the sauce, and they were really good.
I would say that the thing I always thought was cool about New York pizza was they just basically made it with cheese, and then they put the pepperoni on it as they heated it up in the oven. They would quick heat it,
Oh, yeah.
So it was super thin. Oh, so good. Yeah. Just Jewel says calzone. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love calzones.
They got a bunch of different names for them, don't they?
Yeah. Well, Puffios, I think, was their like that, because whenever I say Puffios, nobody knows what I'm talking about. No. But I think that was just this joint's trade name for them. But.
One Step says you're not going to do much after eating deep dish, though, and that's true.
No,
you're not going very. That was such a hot.
I found it was just too much tomato.
Yeah,
it was way too much. And
but I loved it. It was.
I don't know.
It was an experience. The one we haven't tried yet is Detroit pizza. We've ordered it from places, but we've never had it from there. So
yeah.
I like we ordered it in the city one time. It had that really thick, crispy outside crust. What am I bothering you?
Here,
Apparently Angus is being bothered by me talking
Here,
too
stop.
much, guys. So let's see here.
Sit.
Rick says, by the way, if you ever see someone not eat the crust of their pizza and they eat a breadstick, you're allowed to punch them in the face.
The crust is actually my favorite part. I get so mad at him when he'll eat it all the way up to the crust and leave. I'm like, what are you doing? That's the best part.
Dip it. I used to dip it in my donair sauce.
Usually you leave it on he doesn't eat the crust.
Nah.
He eats it on his plate.
Said if I eat a breadstick and not the crust, you get to punch me. So that's not what happens. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of
the crust is the best part.
Let's see
Yeah.
what
Especially if it's stuffed crust.
how about what is the weirdest food you've ever eaten? I am trying
You
to
know what? I don't think I've eaten any weird food because I'm so picky.
my
you
7. Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, give or take a year or two. I still get carded, so I
I
feel
don't know. Weirdest food I've ever eaten.
I've eaten shark, which isn't that weird. But
You know what? I'm gonna say I have not eaten any weird food because I'm a very picky eater. So anything that I don't know what it is or if it has a weird name to it or anything, I won't eat it.
I grew up with a butcher. So, and Dad would eat anything weird. And I mean, I say that weird nowadays, when I was a kid, I was turned off by beef heart, and then I ate it and I fell in love. That's one of my heart's one of my favorite things. Head cheese is probably the weirdest fucking thing I've ever eaten.
Gross.
And if you don't know what that is, it's basically brain, like pork brain, salt, and it's like a gelatin. I think they use the brain cartilage as the gelatin, and it kind of you know that like gel stuff that's in a can of ham when you open it up. It looks like it's half that and half cut up ham, and it's okay.
Would you eat at the Czar place?
I had a Gator burger.
Gator.
Yeah, Gator was okay. The problem with everything, and the Czar is probably one of my favorite restaurants, which I forgot to mention. That's just local here, half an hour away. He has exotic meat, but of course, it's all frozen for a while, so it's good. But so let's see, head cheese, shark, and Solomon Gundy is so what that is herring, pickled herring. So herring's a fish, and they add a bunch of vinegar and they let it sit, and then I don't know, it's weird, but it's got like a vinegary, almost like a pungent rotten fish flavor, and then sometimes they add white wine to it, so it's like kind of a little bit sweet. Oh, it's weird. So yeah, great to have you, Random Rick. Thanks for dropping by. What else? Oh, so who says this sounds like Scrapple? Oh, I've had Scrapple. That's a Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has all these weird foods. I've had Scrapple and Philly cheesesteaks and funnel cakes. They're all from Pennsylvania for some reason, but they're good. You ever had funnel cakes?
I've had funnel cakes,
Yeah,
but that's not a weird food.
No, well, it is when
Well,
again, when I was an 18-year-old, wet behind the ears freshman in college, and I went to school with a bunch of guys from Pennsylvania. A funnel cake to me blew my mind. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is cool.
It's just like pancake batter and grease.
Yeah, but they drip it and then it was good. But
honestly, I think the most adventurous I've ever had is like cold alphagetti in a can.
What are you, 7?
Yeah, but no, it's because I'm a picky eater.
I know you are.
I won't eat anything that I have never had.
When you met me when I was 24 or whatever, I wouldn't eat onions or mushrooms. So
I won't eat onions.
Yeah,
I don't eat onions, and I won't eat peppers, but I like the flavor of them. So like if I cook them with something, the flavor takes on. But I won't eat. I won't actually eat the pepper.
So I've never had a garbage plate. Have you ever had a garbage plate?
No.
So
You're asking me.
I know, but One Step Closer says if you ever make it to Rochester, and we've been through Rochester plenty of times,
okay,
have a garbage plate. I mean, we don't go now, but we used to, and we'd head. And this, I'm looking at it right now. The garbage plate is now recognized all over the United States. It's kind of like Donairs from Nova Scotia, right? What I don't even know what it is. I'm trying to find what it is. I see cheese and onions
our American friends would be a poutine.
Poutine, yeah. I mean,
I do eat. I have had poutine, and I do get that.
Yeah, and all that is traditionally is just French fries, cheese curds, like Wisconsin cheese curds, and piping hot gravy on top.
Yeah.
You hear about people mixing other things in with it, but that's traditional poutine. So, yeah, that looks okay. I don't know what it is, but garbage plate.
It
You
looks
see,
like noodles.
Trash plate is simply a plate.
Oh, right there. Hot dogs, Italian sausage, chicken or grilled cheese served on any type of home fries, French fries, baked beans, or macaroni salad.
Macaroni salad. That's incredible.
I don't think
that sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, you'd eat it.
Backwoods says, I've eaten so many organs in different species, I've lost track. One of my favorite is tripe. I don't know what is tripe.
That's that white stuff.
Oh,
in the grocery. Is that tongue? No.
No, I don't know. I've never. Let's see what tripe is. So anyway,
I've seen it in the store. It looks like it's like
the first or second stomach of a cow or other ruminant
it's
used
white.
as food. So it's like the casing of haggis or so. Oh no, that's a sheep or whatever. But yeah, anyway, there's lots of that does look like a hangover meal.
Yeah. And
Pipin says he's getting hungry. That's all right. This is fun. Yeah. What do we got next? So weirdest thing, favorite thing to can. Out of all the things we used to can, what did you like canning the best? Yeah, you like that, didn't you?
Because I love squash too. So
yeah.
Actually, one of our daycare moms says that she has a lot of squash, so I'm hoping she'll bring me in some so I can freeze it or can it.
I think my favorite to can was the corn. Remember, we used to buy. It was so much work.
So much
I know it was, but it was fun. Remember, we used to buy 50-pound. Well, we didn't buy them in bags, but when the store would get them on sale for like 10 for $1 or whatever. And we'd go home and first we'd shuck all the corn and then we'd cut all the corn.
That was so much work.
I just used a nice sharp knife and I'd cut down it. And then we tried making
carrots are fun.
Carrots are fun.
Yeah.
Remember we used to buy deer carrots. So in Nova Scotia where I grew up, deer are so rare that it's legal to bait them. And so you could buy so the orchards would sell second apples. So what they call them drops or whatever. Yep. So anything that hit the ground, they weren't allowed to sell to the stores. But they would bag them up 50-pound bags for like $8 or something, right? Yeah. And you could buy them for deer bait. Well, quite often we'd bring them home and we would try to make cider out of them or applesauce.
I would make applesauce out of them because there's a couple of them had a couple bruising on them, but you're cutting them up and you're squishing them down anyway, right?
And then for a few years, deer carrots became good because they couldn't sell the fancy carrots in the store. So they'd have the broken or misshapen carrots and they'd sell them. They were about $15 for a 50-pound bag, weren't they?
Yeah.
And we'd buy them. Didn't matter to us. We'd cut them all up except for the little stem part and they'd go right into the cans.
Yeah, I didn't mind that, but yeah, corn's
a lot of work.
Corn is a lot of work. It's a pain in the ass.
Byron says, my wife cussed me when I canned a bushel bag of corn. I dig it. It's a lot of work.
It is. And potatoes were a lot of work too.
They were. They weren't as much as corn, but they were a lot.
Corn was miserable. I remember we did it that one time and I remember telling you that I'm never doing this again. It was way too much work.
Remember we canned mackerel one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you and Olivia liked mackerel.
Yeah, that was fun. That was cool because it made the bones really soft. By the time they were done, there was nothing.
Well, Olivia would go down to the pier and catch them all.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to this point, like they during the summer when the mackerel were running, we got her a fishing pole.
Right.
And then she'd be like, Mom, I'm going down to the wharf. And she would just walk down. And then next thing you know, she's coming home, 4 or 5 hours later, and she'd have like 50 or 60 mackerel. So I'm like, you better find something to do with these fish because like I'd feel bad just wasting them. So then you started canning them for her, right? And
normally it was a silver lure, like a lead lure, but she didn't always have them. I asked her what she was using, and we had a hedge in the front of the house, and they had these little red berries on them. Yeah. She'd take the red berries, put them on the hook, and she'd catch them.
And you remember when she said that didn't work? She goes, when that doesn't work, I pull one off the hook and I kill it and I cut it up and I use that for bait.
She was on. That's right. I forgot about that.
She was like 10 years old and she was cutting up fish.
She'd catch one with a berry. And then once she caught one, she'd take the next one, cut it up, and use it for bait. I mean, she was
down on the wharf, like stomping on this fish and then cutting it up with this little tiny Swiss Army knife and using it for bait. And then she'd be bringing home like 50 or 60 mackerel.
Favorite recipe to make, and where did it come from? I mean, I can go first if you want, but mine is my grandmother's bread.
Yeah.
And she died in 1990, so I was 9 years old. And I remember her bread a fair bit, but I mean, that's 33 years ago now, right? So it's not like, but so maybe 15 years ago, I got it in my head that I wanted to find a recipe because I thought it went with her when she died. My dad is part of there's 9 brothers, well, 8 left, but 9 brothers and sisters. And so I started reaching out to all the family, and I eventually, my Aunt Carolyn, no, it was her daughter, Carol Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my Aunt Carolyn had her brown bread recipe, but my cousin Carol Ann actually had Glenna, that's my grandmother's recipe for bread, white bread. And I'm so good at making, I toot my own horn, but I bake a mean loaf of bread when I make it, don't I? And so people sent me, so reaching out, it was kind of cool because I only wanted her white bread recipe, but I ended up getting her brown bread, which is brown bread, so good. And her homemade donut recipe too, remember, with ginger? And that was really good. But if you've never had brown bread goes really good with beans.
It does.
Yeah. And that's basically like a white bread with molasses in it. And it's so good. Yeah. So good. What's your favorite thing to bake or cook or?
I don't know.
Trying to think all the things over the years you make, but you make a mean pie. I'd have to say probably pie.
I do like pie. I like apple pie.
Yeah, you make a really good apple pie. And to be honest, you used to make the crust from scratch, but over the years you get used to the Pillsbury crust, didn't you?
Well, because it's more it's more convenient when you have short spans of time.
Yeah.
But if you make the crust from scratch, I think that's my favorite. And coconut cream pie.
Yeah, it took you a lot of years to perfect pie crust. There were many holidays that pie crust got thrown across the kitchen. Matt, thump. That's just what would happen when you didn't. So
I don't know. I think that, and I do really like making shepherd's pie, and I do like making chicken pot pie.
Yeah, you make a mean
and my chili.
I don't know. Your shepherd's pie is so good too.
I love making it. It's a lot of work, but I do like making it because I know the kids like it too. And
favorite dessert? Mine's cheesecake. I would say I love cheesecake. I could eat cheesecake till it come out my ears. I mean, I have lots of desserts I like, but man, cheesecake or pie. But
honestly, I was gonna say cookies. I like homemade oatmeal cookies
with chocolate chips.
Nope, just plain oatmeal cookies
and raisins.
Yeah, no.
What do you call raisins?
The devil's fruit.
Yeah. While you're talking, I'm gonna let Angus out.
Yeah, but I think if I had to choose, though, honestly, I love banana bread.
Yeah,
banana
with
bread.
Chocolate chips.
No, just plain banana bread, and I love Rice Krispie squares.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Night One Step.
What was it? Apple
crumble.
Apple. I can't think of it.
Apple crisp.
Apple crisp.
Yeah,
I do like apple crisp.
So good. There's lots, but yeah, I love a good cheesecake and I love a good pie. Any type of pie.
Speaking of cheesecake, I brought the girls home that mega cheesecake from Costco.
Yeah, where is that?
They have a mini fridge upstairs in between their bedrooms, and Alice, she takes it upstairs, goes, "Night, guys," and I think she was just going to eat it with a fork because it's massive cheesecake.
Byron says blackberry cobbler. Peach cobbler is really fucking good
I do
too.
Like peach cobbler.
Oh man,
it's really sweet though.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
They have it at what is it?
Cracker Barrel.
Everything at Cracker Barrel ain't good for you.
No.
I remember ordering was it sweet tea? I think.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I like it made my neck crawl. I was like, I think. Okay, let's put it this way. It was sweet enough that when I put my straw in it, the straw stood up on its own. I mean, it was practically syrup. So.
Yeah, it was way too sweet.
It still give me, when you eat too much sugar and it curls down the back of your neck.
Like drinking sugar cubes.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, this is probably my favorite question. Favorite thing to eat at a carnival or a fair? And everybody else, I want you to put out there what your favorite carnival or fair food is.
Mine is the mini donuts.
And how do you like the mini donuts? Because I know this.
Those mini donuts with anything but icing sugar,
powdered sugar on the mini.
Powdered sugar. There's something wrong with you. Just gonna say it.
So, man, carnival food is crazy. There's something about it. It's. Yeah. I mean, it's your mother says candy apple. Yes,
I do like it. They hurt my teeth.
Yeah. So I would say it's a mix between French fries. I love carnival fries. I don't know what it is, just drenched in ketchup and sometimes a little bit of vinegar. But I would say that or ice cones. What are they? That was what they call it.
Yeah, like the
snow cones.
The snow cones.
I used to love that, and they're always disappointing. You know what I mean? Because you're like
you suck all the syrup out of it, and it's just ice.
I've never had a blooming onion, but yeah, I would. yeah, I would say any type of fried potato of some sort. Texas fritter. What is a Texas fritter?
Well, fritter's like a donut, right? We have apple fritters.
Yeah, but if it's from Texas, it probably has like brisket on it or something. It's like
Barbecue sauce.
It's probably like a 10-pound pile of brisket with 4 types of barbecue sauce and
On a stick.
On a stick. Here you go. It's like, what's this? That's a Texas fritter. Fucking eat it. We'll find out what it really is. They're all gonna enjoy it. But yeah, I'm like, yeah. It's like, what is that? Well, it's a dessert at a Texas fair. Really? Yeah. What? Well, it's, it gives you the meat sweats. I mean, dessert's not supposed to give you the meat sweats, but here we are.
Meat sweats.
Imagine, like, why are you sweating? Texas fritter.
Yeah. Oh, you had one of them Texas fritters, did you?
Oh boy, you only had one? What's wrong with you, kid? You live in Texas now.
Served you not even on a stick, like on like some big major skewer.
Yeah, it'd be like, it's like, sir, that's a stabbing dagger. No, that's a skewer, but it's okay. I wasn't far off. Pork loin pounded thin and breaded about the size of 4 hamburger buns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Enough to give you the meat sweats.
Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, I would say, honestly, fries at a carnival are just, there's something about those out, the outdoor, and you smell the carny body odor and you get real hungry. It's
I just have to I like those mini donuts.
Somebody serving you that only have 3 teeth, and and you got the yak woman barking at you next door, and you're like, man, it's nothing quite as good as riding a ride that you take your life in your hands. And then,
well, it's kind of like, it's similar to like when you go to the Universal Studios and Walt Disney World and stuff, all those.
Oh, Byron says fresh cut French fries. Yeah,
I do like. My dad used to make fresh cut fries.
Yeah, he made some good fries. Your dad was very particular about how he would cook.
Well, things. because again, in Sarnia, under the bridge, we'd have French fry trucks.
The Blue Water Bridge, right?
And you could go and get fresh cut fries from the fry trucks, and they were so good. Right.
And I think we'll finish with this one. Is that the right term? Favorite genre of food or favorite type of food? Like Italian or Chinese or American, whatever you want to call it. It's probably not the right word, but
honestly, I'd say I like home cooked food.
Yeah.
Like if I had a choice where I had somebody like, okay, I like eating at home, but I don't like the work of it. Right. And I think that has to do a lot with me.
Well, you've cooked for years.
Like if I had someone that was making me the meals, I would go home and eat dinner at home before I go out and eat anywhere.
Byron says the only thing they have under bridges is the homeless.
Same within Edmonton. Now they got tent cities now.
Yeah.
So oh boy. It's like, yeah. No, but I honestly, I'd say home cooked. That's my favorite.
Mine's diner food. 100%. I was thinking about that.
To home
it
cooked,
is very
right?
much, so like things like hot hamburger sandwiches, which I think they have in the States, right? Yeah. Hot hamburger sandwiches, trying to think like fried hamburgers, like that with American cheese, potatoes, like mashed potatoes with gravy. Oh man, any of that stuff, and they quite often you get like a piece of cornbread or something with it, or rolls. Just
so basically, if I was home and I was making meals.
Yeah, Mexican is really good, but for me, it is 100% diner food. Anytime the food could even be shit, but damn well, if we go through a town and I see one of those rail car silver style diners, we got to stop, right?
No, I like home cooked meals. If I had a home cooked meal every night, I'd never go out. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that what's in it.
Yeah.
And everything. So
it's fairly simple, for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that was our list, Mrs. Cook. That was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. That was I appreciate Josek for he's like asking a real serious prepper question, and we're like, yeah, let's turn it into making fun of Texas food all night, But it was fun. I wonder what the homeless cook under the bridges.
Oh yeah.
They used to have what was it? Anyway, the little hobo stoves or whatever. Speaking of which, the hobo dinner, was that what we called it? Remember when we used to camp?
Yeah. No. Well, I got that.
What did you call that?
It's called a hobo meal.
Yep.
It used to be. It's something that we did with the Girl Guides.
Right, and explain it. Some people probably had it.
But you take a piece of tinfoil, and a good size, not a huge piece,
maybe a foot by a foot.
Yeah. And then you take fresh hamburger and you form it into a patty. And you cut I always take a handful of like the mini carrots And then you take a potato or two and you cube it up, and you can put onion, and then you sprinkle salt and pepper on it. And then you put the hamburger patty, and then you roll up the tinfoil. And what you're supposed to do is throw it in the fire.
Right. And we usually did that, didn't we?
Well, no, why make them in the oven?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You
We do.
can
When we used to camp, we used to throw them in the
and
fire.
then you just throw the whole thing in the fire, and you just let it cook, and then you pull it all out, and you just eat it out of the tinfoil.
It's fun.
Yep.
Didn't we? And we put a dollop of butter in there too, didn't we?
You could put
Yeah.
butter, ketchup, whatever you want to put in there. I used to put seasoning salt on all
I
of it.
love seasoning salt. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about it, but it just
But it's an easy way to make a meal in a fire.
yeah.
And then you just pull it out with tongs. Yeah.
And it's tasty, especially when you've been outdoors all day and enjoying the fresh air and
you can.
camping.
And I used to make it for the kids even at home.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they loved it. Remember,
Olivia likes it, and the twins liked it because they liked the idea of the tinfoil being on the plate, and
yeah, they thought
it was all
funny.
there.
Yeah.
They thought it was great.
Byron says daughter makes them with chicken and taters.
Yep.
That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. I always thought they were good.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. They were a good little treat. They were fun.
Yeah.
And growing up, we used to have bonfires on the beach. Every Sunday we'd go out, and I it was mainly hot dogs we would cook, but sometimes you'd cook hamburgers and things. But I love a good campfire. Oh man. But well, Mrs. Cook, what do you think? We've been an hour and a half. We're gonna go up and test out the hot tub tonight, aren't we? I think it's cool enough. We're going to try, or is it raining? Oh, well, it doesn't really matter if it does or it doesn't. But yeah, we're going to relax. We're going to have tomorrow, and tomorrow is our day to do whatever because we have no podcast, no live stream.
As
tomorrow,
long as
right?
it's not raining.
Yeah, but it'll be good. Well, thank you guys. This was fun. I love our laid back Friday nights. Friday night food fight it was tonight. So we had a request to do another Amazon show. So we'll do one of those in the next couple of weeks. So I told most everybody, but next week the schedule is going to be all over the place. I think Thursday I'm going to do an early morning live stream because we're going to be on the road. We're basically going to be gone all weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the Sunday night interview will be in. You'll get a pre-recorded show for Friday, and Thursday will be an early live stream.
Do you have an interview on Sunday?
I think so. But I can make it work from a hotel if we have to.
If you want.
Oh yeah, I'll just take. I mean, I've been practicing. You guys, I don't know. I think I showed on Instagram, but maybe I'll do a little video of my mobile podcasting setup because it's actually pretty good, isn't it? With a stupid little backdrop that you love, as long as you don't knock it over, right? So, but it works, yeah. So, guys, we appreciate you. This was a lot of fun. Angus said goodbye. He took off, so he said
he's outside.
Later, fuckers. So, guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.